I strongly oppose the motion. Adopt a student loans mechanism in Indonesia. Okay, the government speaker, before we talk about the beautiful dreams, they said, "Don't worry, we will not copy the United States model because it failed. We will copy Singapore's model. Wards will only pay after they get a job, and they must work in Indonesia." But judges, this is a dangerous illusion. They do not understand the real situation on the ground in Indonesia. Let us break down their plan with the simple rebuttals. First, they assume that every university graduate will automatically get a job. The government thinks that after you get a degree, a high-paying job will waiting for you. But look at Indonesia today, that we are facing a massive job scarcity crisis. Millions of young people, includes those with bachelor's degree, are still unemployed. If they cannot get a job, they cannot pay the government back, and the government will lose their money, and the whole system will collapse. Second, Indonesia is not Singapore. You cannot just copy paste a system from a city like a tiny rich city state to a massive developing country. In Singapore, salaries are very high. In Indonesia, most fresh graduates are only paid the minimum wage or UMR. And forcing Indonesian youth to stay here with a low salaries while carrying a huge debt is financial suicide. It will destroy their future before it can even start. Second, about university funding. The government said student loans will give more money to university to build better facilities. This is completely wrong. When the government introduced students loans, the state will slowly stop giving direct subsidies to public university. This university will then raise tuition fees higher and higher because they know students can just take loans. In the end, university becomes more expensive for everyone. Our team today will prove two things. First, student loans will trap the middle class in the cycle of debt. Second, the government is running away from its study. The real solution is direct state subsidies, not commercial loans. Okay, moving to my first arguments. Our first argument is that student loans will trapping our young generation in a cycle of debt and ruin the economy if for middle class families. Why will this happen? Let us look at the step-by-step reality. The government team said that this loan is the best help for middle-class families who cannot afford upfront university fees. But let's see what happens after these students graduate. Look at like a country like Germany or Finland. They do not use student loans. Their higher education is fully funded by the government. They see like university as an investment for the future and not a business to make money from their students. Indonesia actually has a big budget for education. We can do the same thing if the government takes responsibility and gives direct subsidies instead of loans. Because if we did not give subsidies and choose loans instead, it will fail. We already saw a real example of this disaster in Indonesia recently. Like some public university collaborates with online lending application, or like we call pinjol, to help students pay their tuition. Like what happened? It makes a massive scandal, of course. Many students were trapped in high interest, chased by debt collectors, and their mental health was destroyed. Even if the loans comes from the government, but the pressure of starting your adult life with a massive debt will kill the productivity and creating of our creativity of our youth. Therefore, judges, student loans do not help the middle class. It only exploits their hopes and sentences them to like a long-term poverty after graduation. Our second argument is that this loan is just an excuse for the government to escape from their duty to provide education. Why is it that bad? Because according to our constitution, it is an absolute job for the government to educate the nation. So, because education is a basic public right and um, not a business product. If we use student loans, the government will stop trying to make university cheap. They would just tell students like, if you don't have money, just borrow them from the nation or like the state. This is dangerous because it turns the state from protector into a debt collector. And the government team said that it is no other way because scholarships are too small. And no, we strongly disagree. The situation is simple. See our state budget better. Indonesians already have a law that say a big part of the state budget must go to education. Instead of creating a complicated loan system where the government has to chase citizens to get money back to the government, we should just use that money to directly fund public universities. We must expand programs like KIP so middle class facilities can study without borrowing money. And if we stop corruption and we just fix the budget, we don't need loans at all. So giving direct subsidies to university is a far safer and more honorable solution than turning our students into debtors and turns their into debtors to their own government. In the end, panel of judges, the choice in this debate is very clear. On one side, the government wants to give our youth a mountain of debt that will follow them for 20 years or more. They want them to turn the education into a business product. But our team side, the opposition wants a country where our young generation can go to universities safely. We want them to graduate with higher hopes and big dreams and not with debts. So we believe the government must take responsibility and give direct subsidies just like Germany and Finland. So for all these reasons, thank you so much.